I love to do crosswords as small treats for my brain. I love things to do with words, especially in games. Sometimes I look at the grid and everything seems lost. Then suddenly, one letter and I get words down and across. One small piece of progress means all things fall into place. Don't give up, for one small thing can make your whole landscape change.
Man, I just saw a picture of Donald Trump, mama and daddy, and they ugly than a motherfucker.
Sometimes I don't understand how voting became like the end-all be-all when it comes to morality or like upholding your principles in terms of global political violence, because people who are anti-voting often tell those who are choosing to participate in the democratic process that we're upholding the system, that we support the G word, which in theory is not untrue, and I'm not trying to push back on that idea. We have to sit with the fact that that is essentially the case. But you are also paying taxes, no? Like, unless you're committing tax fraud or not purchasing or buying anything ever from like stores, you pay taxes. You are funding political violence everywhere as well. Do not use Google, Microsoft in your day-to-day life for work, for anything, or you at the very least use these products in a transient way, because there's no way you don't use a product that also uses these products, which essentially supports the infrastructure for political violence globally as well. Like, there are so many ways in which we interact with or support global political violence because that's the way the system was built. And more and more lately, I think it's so unproductive to call out individuals for their individual actions, because it takes away from the fact that the system is using and oppressing us all no matter what we do. You think that just because you're not voting, you're not actively involved in supporting global political violence, and that's wrong. That's untrue.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes.
We need to get in the habit of stop asking for things that we are not willing to do ourselves. For example, you know, we can say we want all these things to happen. We want all these changes to be made. We want to live in this kind of world or live in a certain kind of society. But are you willing to be the change that you want to see in the world? If not, how can you ask somebody else to do something that you're not willing to do yourself?
You are not the center of the universe. Your likes and dislikes and wants do not dictate how other people should behave, and you don't get to be mean when people do things that you just don't like. I'm not talking like human rights. I'm talking like regular folk trying to chill and mind their business and be who they want to be. Like, if Chappell Roan doesn't want to hug or doesn't want to be touched or doesn't want to be harassed or stalked or called by her name in public, that's her prerogative, and you don't get to be mad about that. It's not just her. Anytime anyone does something y'all don't like, even if it's just cringe or a little embarrassing, y'all are so quick to jump to the nearest extreme. It's not okay. Y'all remember the Australian breakdancer from the Olympics? Yeah, she couldn't dance. But as a result, people have been literally sending her unalive threats because she can't dance. Or if a content creator ever does something cringe or embarrassing or something that you just don't like or wouldn't do, it doesn't give you the right to be mean. I don't know if it's because we spend so much time having all of our content and media curated to our likes and dislikes, but we exist in the real world with real people with real feelings. You don't just get to be mean because something crossed you that you don't like. You are not the center of the universe, babe, and it's never that deep. But you are the center of your universe, and if you see something that you don't like, walk away.
I get so caught up in my head, but you, darling, I took the hard way instead. For you, darling, I get so caught up in my mind. I think about you all the time. Hey, yeah, hey, okay, buttercup. Been thinking about you all summer. Caught up in them numbers. Hey, okay, let's go, sugar pie. Been thinking about you all spring. Ooh, bad as what? Bad as them ghetto all spring. I get so caught up in my head. Hey, for you.
One of the funniest things you can experience, like, as a human, is when you notice someone is just, like, continuously being a hater, like, doing vindictive, evil-ass shit to you for no fucking reason. And it just clicks, like, oh, shit, this is your storyline. Like, this is all there is to your life. Like, this is the plot. Like, this is, like, the focal point. And you just feel bad. You're like, oh, like, I understand. Like, yes, say petty shit. Just be mean to me for no reason. Because this is all you got.
Yeah, gang gang. Till I ain't in the mood. I don't want your pussy, I'm cool.
One of my mutuals, and I'll tag them down below, has had a take for years that leftist is a useless term with no actual meaning. And initially, I very much disagreed with this. Because despite the fact that leftism is an extremely vague term with no definition grounded in reality at all, I thought it was a useful signifier and unifier. I thought it was useful in coalition building. I have since seen the light, because a lot of you walk around calling yourselves leftists. You have no clue what you are up against, what you're talking about. And you're a couple years away from being like an MSNBC watcher. I really don't want to be an ideological purist. I find that kind of stuff annoying, but some of y'all are not my motherfucking twin.
Wow, those are some lyrics.
That is indeed what they are. Those are absolutely some words that are sung in a rhythmic manner.
And what a message it sends. Like,
an
that's
important
a good
message. One that needs to be heard in a time such as this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, I for real thought that shit was gonna be about shoes.
And in another country, it would have been.
Oh,
in another
sure.
country, that would have been about shoes. Like,
Ollie, okay, let me be honest. This might be a controversial take, but I'm sick and tired of hearing people who can't speak Spanish with a good accent speak Spanish. Like, if you can't speak with a good accent, why are you talking? Y si tú le diste like a este video antes de escuchar lo que voy a decir, tú eres parte del problema. If anyone's new here, hi, my name is Kyla. I'm an African American who learned Spanish from a very young age so that I can learn to speak it fluently, and I've used it abroad in different countries and around the world, period. Lo que muchas personas no entienden del aprendizaje de un idioma es que toma tiempo. No vas a despertar una mañana y decir, hablo español con fluidez. I'm fluent in English. Like, no, toma tiempo. Y aparte de eso, que es un acento perfecto, porque puedes hablar como un mexicano, colombiano, venezolano, peruano, español. Puedes hablar con varios diferentes acentos que en un país se consideran perfectos, pero en otros no. Este mensaje lo digo en decir que si alguien te llega y empieza a hablarte español, aunque su acento no es perfecto, dale chance, déjalo cocinar, porque va a llegar un tiempo donde lo puede hacer perfecto. ¿Ok? Gracias. Chao.
See how I took a social media break? Haven't posted anything on Maine in months. I was very cutesy, very demure, very mindful. I still don't know if I want to come back to social media, but I might try and see what happens. In the meantime, I'll be very cutesy and demure on my own.
Let me put you onto an artist that you might not have heard of, but you should definitely be listening to. Stay with me here because you're not gonna regret sitting through this video. Now, if you like artists that do not sound like everybody else, then Tendai will fit perfectly in your rotation. Check this out.
Gave you a wedding ring, but you're moving on to better things. Put it on everything, but you prove me wrong cause you're moving on.
There's this gritty texture to Tendai's voice that really reminds me of Michael Jackson's delivery on songs like Smooth Criminal. But Tendai still has that thing that makes it his own.
Made you think twice, but if I was wrong, what's the use in loving you at all?
Someone put me onto this project, and I'm always skeptical going into albums of artists that I'm not super familiar with, but this was so worth it that I had to make this video. It's not very often you come across an artist that has their own style and sound and are very confident in it, especially in this day and age. He's really the definition of a hidden gem, and I need you guys to tap in.
What if I told you I just wanna be part of your symphony? Will you hold it tight and don't let go? Love you. Toodles.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes.
And everything she said was absolutely correct. Everything she said was right. Just because y'all consume the artistry that somebody puts out, or y'all consume the content that somebody creates, y'all consume whatever a very popular person does not mean you have a relationship with them. You have a relationship with what they do and what they create, not with them. Stop creating bonds and relationships with people that you don't know. I think it's okay for you to like a person. I think it's okay for you to like what they do. I think it's okay to say that you really love something that somebody does. But there is a boundary there. Because deep down, you still don't know this person. And then I guess people were saying stuff like, oh, well, like she's a celebrity and, you know, this is her job, so she signed up for this. No, she didn't. It does become more of a risk since so many people know her, but she didn't sign up for that. She signed up to be an artist and to give y'all art, not to be stalked, harassed, etc. And it's ironic because people who aren't celebrities still deal with that on a minor scale. How many times have women specifically came on here and said that they have a stalker that started stalking them from their job? How many times have people come on here and talk about how random people on the street try to disrespect their boundaries, try to get something out of them that they're not willing to give? On a minor scale, y'all do know what that looks like, and you know that you wouldn't like it if it happened to you. So why are y'all trying so hard to debate with her? Just because you like her and you like her artistry does not mean that she owes you anything. She is a person, just like the rest of us. Y'all gotta stop being weird with these people you don't know.
I know I don't be posting, and that's not gonna change. But that's because I'm working very hard. That's because I'm experiencing life. Y'all love my music so much because you can relate to it. And that's because I actually go out and I live my life and come back and just bear it out on the mic. And I can't be doing that and doing all these pussy, showing my nyash strangers. I beg, please, just slow it the fuck down. Okay? I can only do so much. So yeah, I've been in the studio, wrapping up my project, and when it comes out, oh, everything that you guys have been asking for and even more surprising things are gonna be there.
My friend from New York came to visit me, but also just came to like figure out her stuff, and she had this humongous beanbag in her storage unit, and now it's mine. And I feel like I can never be sad again because like I'm just being cradled. Like I'm back in the womb. This is my room that I'm turning into a studio room. These are my guitars and bass and ukulele. I'm really good at the ukulele, but my cat, you see what he did to that string. This is this huge Her poster we got at her show. They literally handed it to us on our way out. We put it in an Uber. This is my Radiohead poster. I haven't put it up yet because I have to put up the guitars first.
Beloved, this is our battle too. Like, we're the ones that's paying for it. We're the ones that's funding it. Our Congress is actively cutting on social services like Medicaid and lunch programs to increase the military budget so our government can have more money to give to Israel. This is actually our problem. In addition to that, this shows how much a foreign interest lobbying group has control over our Congress. Representative Cori Bush was just essentially beat because a foreign Israeli lobbying group called AIPAC funded her opponent to get her out of Congress because she spoke against them. And let's not forget, our Congress voted to ban this app, which takes effect in January of next year because AIPAC, an Israeli lobbying group, didn't like that we were seeing pro-Palestinian content. Do you think that they would spend all that money and all that energy and all that time if it wasn't our battle? Of course not. It's absolutely our battle. Now, I do want to acknowledge the anti-Black statements that have been met by people within the pro-Palestinian movement. And I wish that people in the pro-Palestinian movement would have just caught it and called it out and dealt with it so that we wouldn't have to deal with it. So I do want to acknowledge that. But understand, as a tax-paying citizen or a tax-paying resident in this country, what is happening is absolutely our battle because we're paying for it, whether we want to accept it or not.
Have you considered having better opinions because that opinion right there is bad? Have you considered having better opinions because this opinion, well, it's giving sad. I can't make my chest disappear every time the temperature is up here. So have you considered having better opinions? Have you considered it? I'm not gonna wear a million layers when it's 100 degrees outside because a stranger on the internet is afraid of boobs. Sorry!
Know only this, mon cher. You are the only being I trust. And whom I love. Above and beyond myself.
Guys, while we're on the topic, if you don't find a girl attractive, that's fine. But you don't need to say who's gonna tell her. If she does not fit conventional beauty standards, people probably have told her throughout her entire life, and she chose to find herself beautiful anyways, and she is exercising like self-worth right now, and you are literally dogging on her. Damn! Anyway.
Toodles. And I should probably hit the heartbreaks, turn this thing around for it's too late, and I wind up in your driveway, 'cause baby, we
ain't no relationship, you gon' die. Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. Stand up.
Some of you are under the belief that their mother wouldn't approve of how your mother raised you. And I hate to tell you this, but you are the best American girl.
Ooh, catch it? Yeah. Toodles.
Oh my goodness, do y'all remember that period of time where y'all would not leave the top 100 records alone without making it a Jersey remix? Like, I do not want to hear this.
The darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. How many times will it lie, but you think you know what's the truth? I know just how I got it, can I get it with you? I know just why I talk about myself like I do.
Peep this, y'all. You get adult money and then you get free will and you put the two together. And what do you get? You get a happy adult. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of us feel like we got to live our lives a certain way, but you really don't. Make your own rules. That's why I'm dressed as a banana. And who's going to check me? Nobody, because I'm grown and I don't give a damn. Something I did to like make my own rule was eat birthday cake whenever I wanted to eat it, or just eat cake in general whenever I wanted to eat it. I don't need to wait for no celebration to give me a nice old piece of cake. And honestly, it wasn't just a piece of cake. I get a whole cake. I will get a cake that feeds like 8 to 10 people, and I will eat it and drink an iced coffee on the side. And who's gonna check me? Nobody, because I'm grown and I do what I want. And my thing is, if I was craving Thanksgiving food right now, is it Thanksgiving? No. But if I got the money to go get it and the time to make the food, I'm gonna do that. And nobody can check me. Like, we have to break out of stuff just because it's been made to feel like we have to do it that way. And we gotta do what we want to do. I feel like as adults, we will feel so much more free and so much more happy when we start living like that. Because can't nobody check you. I'm literally a banana. Eating bitches up as a banana. And who's checking me? Nobody. So like, do what you want to do. Have fun. Like, this is an adult's happy place. Get to that point. Make your own rules. Do what you want to do. Ugh.
Platinum 24 karat chronometer is missing. Who sold it? I don't know. Wrong answer, forehead.
Y'all, my baby gonna be on TV.
Turn it up, Trey, come on. Thanks for joining us, Trey. So how was life growing up?
You know, it was rough, man. Like, you know, I really grew up poor. You know, I was raised in the trenches.
What?
That is so crazy, Trey.
What?
Really?
No, I want to know what trenches he's talking about because he was raised in Beverly Hills.
I couldn't imagine how rough life was for you, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, you know, I didn't even know what my next meal was. Like, there were times where I had to go to bed having sleep for dinner. Like, it was that rough for real.
Boy, you always knew your next meal. We had 2 fridges because you ate too damn much.
You know, people constantly told me that I wasn't gonna be nothing in life.
Oh, please. The teacher asked him how to spell dog and he got mad.
Right.
You know, I did get locked up a few times. I was in and out of prison. Like, it was rough.
No, prison?
Absolutely not. He was in detention because he was skipping class.
This is actually, like, where I used to grow up.
Whose house is that?
My mom's really was never around for real. Like, we always had to, like, fend for ourselves. You had a nanny. Yeah, we never had clean drinking water. Like, we used to bathe in our own saliva. Like, that's it.
Wait, let him finish. Come on, let him finish.
You know, there was a time where she left us out in the very hot sun.
No.
Tamika, come on. Tamika.
No, don't touch me. No.
And I can name 10 things us girls need before we ever need a man. 1 new bake, 2 lines of Coke, 3 drinks from the bar, 4 more lines of Coke, 5 guys fries, 6 hits in my blunt, 7 more lines of Coke, 8.
So Cam Newton, father of 8 kids by 3 different women, married to none of them, recently said in an interview that he wants more kids, but he's afraid of getting married, prompting people to ask, Why do men think that kids are less of a commitment than marriage? And it's because, sadly, they're right. When we think about the consequences of men having kids, 9 times out of 10, men get to pick what those consequences kind of look like. If he wants to be around and be an active participant, then he is, and if he doesn't, then he just disappears. Yeah, maybe he has to pay child support, but very rarely does that amount to the amount of time, energy, and money the other parent is putting into parenting. We don't even hold men accountable for the kids they leave behind. We blame women for that, somehow. Even if he is an active parent, the question is, what is active? Oftentimes we have conversation about women who are solo parenting their kids while their husband might tune in occasionally to change a diaper or to hold a bottle before he goes on with whatever his interests are. Meanwhile, if a man gets married, he can't just do what he wants to do anymore. He is tied down to the old ball and chain, or else he's labeled as a bad husband and a bad man. And while a man may or may not end up paying child support, if he gets a divorce, he will be paying alimony or 50% of assets or whatever that consequence is. So we made a culture where there are fewer consequences for men to have kids than to get married. And all they have to do is convince a woman that it's scary to get married and they're golden. So they do.
I knew the UK was racist, but I didn't think it was active race riots are happening and politicians are saying nothing kind of racist. Is that really how y'all roll over there?
The online activism space has been actually insufferable the past few weeks because, as Miss Jules would say, the girlies are not being very demure. We're not being very mindful. Girlies lack nuance and empathy and are constantly operating from a place of ego. We can't even have serious and necessary conversations because somebody is always looking to call somebody out. I'm not talking about gentle call-ins and combating misinformation. I'm talking about ostracizing people from entire movements the second their thoughts and opinions do not completely align with yours. And the worst and saddest part about this is that the perpetrator of all of this violence against all of our peoples is the same. And so instead of putting our heads together to fight back against them, we continue to have these extremely unproductive conversations. As long as white supremacy or white delusion exists, then we're going to have anti-blackness come up in all of these spaces. Now, one thing I learned is that people really, really despise being called anti-black. Which is completely understandable, but we have to understand if you were born on this blue marble, you probably have some anti-blackness that you need to unpack. And yes, that includes even black people. I beg of us, please, to stop operating out of a place of ego and to go back to centering the victims of all of this. And activists are not a monolith, so we all have different thoughts and opinions. So it is extremely important for us to keep an open heart and mind when communicating these differences of opinions. Also, growing your own food is very demure, it's very mindful, very cunty.
Uh-oh! Looks like this nigga pressed the button! Now I'm making noise! Now he's trying to walk away! Word is born!
Telling a job interview or a story that don't make sense. I reapplied to the same interview and changed my name. Hey, y'all stay tuned.
Look familiar. Have I interviewed you before?
I don't think so. My funeral was an hour ahead ago, and I'm born tomorrow on October 33rd at 7 a.m. at night on old year, so that gotta be my baby granddad.
Oh, this is a joke. So you must be the man with the bananas from a few months ago?
Wait, so you that interviewer that had the natural hair. I like how we both got wigs on today.
You know what? I'm not going to let you get me out of my character. I'm really trying to stay professional here. If you would like to continue with the interview, we can do that, but it needs to make sense.
Wait, but like, why should I hire you?
Why should I hire you?
You see the wig, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking for somebody who can smell numbers, you know what I'm saying? Lazy, I got to be sprinting though, so you think you qualify for that?
Can't do this. I can't even take you seriously with this wig. I'm going to have to let you go.
I can't take you serious with your wig either, but I'm still trying to get you to qualify for the job.
Oh, you know what? I'm not going to let you get me on my character. I don't know how HR keeps pushing your resume through, but we're going to have to end this.
So are you available to start last week?
Are you available to string sentences together that make sense?
Bueno.
Are you speaking Spanish now?
You're hired.
You're not. Goodbye.
Notice how when traveling on foot, I stick to one side of the sidewalk. Very mindful.
very demure. I'm not like you other girls. I don't walk in the middle of the sidewalk, preventing people from walking by. I'm very mindful with it, very cutesy, very demure-sy. Unless there's a man trying to pass me, to which I will then walk directly in the middle of the sidewalk, sometimes even extending my arms out like this to make it more difficult for him to pass by. Not very mindful, not very demure, but very satisfying. Exhibit A. Not very mindful. Let's put it to the test now, shall we?
There's a group of Republicans that think Kamala Harris legally cannot run for president. Not because she's a woman, not because she's a Democrat, but because she's black. They're using the 1857 Dred Scott Supreme Court decision to make their case. If you're unfamiliar, Dred Scott v. Sandiford from 1857 is probably one of the biggest legal stains in American history. Dred Scott was a black enslaved man who was born in Virginia. His owner moved him to Alabama and then to Missouri. Now, these are all slave states. Once his original owner died, he was purchased by another man who then moved him to Illinois and then Wisconsin, both free states. Dred Scott would challenge in court that since he had lived in free states, he should technically be a free man. But the United States Supreme Court said no. Technically, you're right, but as an enslaved man, you're not a person. You're not a citizen. You're another person's property. Using that Supreme Court case as well as 5 other cases to say that Kamala Harris is not a citizen because her parents weren't citizens when she was born here, technically. And they're trying to be equal opportunity racist because they're going after Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley, saying that they aren't qualified to be on any Republican ballot.
I've lost too many soldiers not to play it safe. If he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location, I still got PTSD. Motherfuck the big 3. Nigga, it's just big me, nigga. Boom.
Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes. Do you know you have 30 minutes? Are you kidding me? 30, yes.
After all the real things